There's,
Hello.
how are you?
Wonderful. And so are you.
Yeah, I'd have to admit that I am. Um, Stuff still seems to have its surface ups and downs, but I'm staying centered a lot better. And so I can genuinely say I'm perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey, did you see I put that issue on our agenda for tomorrow?
I didn't see it, but great. I'll take a look.
Yeah, and just spend some time talking. The other thing is this. Unity of Livonia ACIM group is growing. And if we make changes, I even want to talk about a structure. Are we getting big enough to where when stuff comes up, we need to vote on it? You know, if I look at, hold on, let me get this. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
And Joan is coming in. Hi, Joan.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see you. I was just talking to Dee about our Tuesday night study group, and we're starting to entertain some changes. And the question arises, for example, if you look at the total database of how many people are on our mailing list, it's probably about 65 people who have attended at least one session of this group and got on the mailing list. So we were talking about, for example, we don't have to start our group from June to June. We could take the summer off, or as has been suggested, the group take the summer off, and for those that are interested, we could study the two supplements to the course over the summer. And then start our regular group in September, but it would go 12 months, September to September.
Uh-huh.
But the issue is we're so big, I can't necessarily just limit decisions to who showed up that night. So one of the things I want to talk about is how do we go about adopting changes? Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
Again, there's 65, 70 people on
But
our.
not really. They're
So
inactive.
yeah, so my question, my thought is perhaps you might want to send, when you send it out, you might want to ask people if they want to remain on the list. Of those 65 people.
Well, when I send what out?
If you what list are you talking about, the list for the Tuesday night group?
Yes.
And
Tomorrow
so you said,
night, I want to talk
right,
about making some changes to how
right,
we do things.
right.
Uh, but it's probably unfair to limit the decision to who shows up tomorrow night. Okay, maybe somebody couldn't be here tomorrow.
Right. Mhm.
So these are issues that, in terms of administrating this, I think we need to talk about as a group and see what our policy's gonna be. This group has a long history. It was in force even before I came in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So
wanna
what was their policy about something like this? What was their policy?
I have no idea.
Oh, all right. Well, then
Yeah.
then you started fresh with
I
yours.
started fresh and we were a small local in-person Livonia, Michigan area group. But things have changed. We've grown and our reach has grown. And so I need to talk about what is the best way to confirm changes. So,
Well,
yeah,
why don't you just get a sense of what the people that show up feel about it for a couple of weeks in a row, and then you decide. Just get a sense of it. You're not going to have 100% agreement. So a vote. Just get a sense of it.
yeah. And even that, I appreciate what you're saying. There, for example, I have people that say, hey, I won't be back to study group this month.
Then why don't we have the discussion about what we want? And then why don't you develop a survey? And then you can send it out to all the people.
That's what I
And
think
then
we need probably to do.
because you're gonna be addressing people who probably haven't been in quite some time. So
Or I'll be addressing people that came often.
right,
Something happened and there's
right,
been a gap.
right, right.
Okay.
So once so just yeah, that's what I would do. I would have the discussion, and then I would just say, this is what we've come up with. I'd like to have your reaction. Is this something are you would like, or something you wouldn't like? And
Yeah.
then that from whenever this ends until September, we're going to be studying those two sections of the Course in Miracles.
Uh, I could do something like that. The point I'm making is that it needs to be a little more formal than
Right.
just saying whoever happened to be there on the given night makes the decision, you
No, I
see.
think when you send out the survey, and you can say from the result of with the results of the survey, we will do what the majority of people majority of people would like.
Yeah, that's kind of the track I was thinking of. Dee, what are you? Hi, Joan. You got something to say on this?
Um, is it a choice to keep the Tuesday night meeting as it is, or is that not a choice at all?
Of course, it's a choice. That's the issue. I'm not trying to just demand something without getting some input.
Mhm.
And an appropriate way to do that is what I want to talk to the group about. Quite frankly, this is a discussion for tomorrow night, not
Yeah.
tonight. But Dee and I got on the subject, and so
I
we'll
like
talk
Kathleen's
about it
idea.
more.
Yeah.
I like Kathleen's idea.
Yeah, and one of the questions is remain the same, or then and then the next question would be, do the two books and start in September, or the next one might be to include that in the year and make the year longer. There's a lot of different options, and I I think that's what we can talk about tomorrow, is what do we want the different options to.
Precisely. So now you're getting the flavor of the discussion tomorrow night. I think
And you could send out, if you wanted to send out a quick email to everyone tomorrow, just say tomorrow night we will be discussing some possible changes to the format.
I don't know if you saw the agenda, but there is an agenda item on about that already.
Uh-huh.
So let's just talk again tomorrow. What, D? What?
We're really not changing the format, though. It's just a
Well-
question, do we want to
Yeah,
include the 2 pamphlets or not? And, and
No.
get started 2
no,
months
no,
later and do the pamphlets, that's all.
No,
The
for-
format's not changing.
For 15 years in June, we start over.
Right.
A Course in Miracles. So the decision, in other words, it would be quite a departure from what
Wow.
we've been doing for years.
Okay, and it doesn't matter which way it really goes, it's all
yeah,
fine.
and not to throw a wrench in this whole thing, but I wanted to mention this last week. There's a book out there that is A Course in Miracles, and it goes, and then it's by John Mundy and Laurie Coburn, and it's different people that have contributed to it. But it's talking about the Course in Miracles as related to yoga, unity, Sufism, Buddhism. It goes through a whole myriad of those, and this is the book, and I just thought it would be, well,
Put
anyway,
it close up.
I just thought it would be
A Course in Miracles, what's it
A
called?
Course in Miracles, and then
And, okay,
yeah.
okay.
And I'll just read one of the reviews. A Course in Miracles is a unique spiritual document. Self-instructed book, okay, but this is clearly it's comparing it to different teachings. And I started reading it, and I just thought it was interesting, and I thought it would be just if we had a different another night, but to read this book and go through it and discuss it, I just thought that it just is another thing to put in our memory bank, or on our wish list.
That's what I mean. There are a lot of new ideas coming.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
open to them, but I have to realize there are people in the group that may not want.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that it's hard to get 100% on
Yeah.
anything.
No, this
And
I
it's
would say
fine.
would be a completely different. It would stand by itself, a book club type thing, not
Okay.
to incorporate into what we have, but just to do separate.
Right. So maybe it's something separate from what we're doing. On the other hand, we don't want to run out of days in the week
Right. Oh yeah, there's
for events. And I'm not able to do a whole lot of different things. I just started a part-time job, did I tell you, with the
No.
University of Michigan? I will be a lobby attendant. I worked for University of Michigan Productions in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. So all of the big productions that University of Michigan does, I'm part of the staff. It's just a part-time job, but I've kind of allocated Friday, Saturday, Sundays,
Mhm.
tell them I'd be available for scheduling. So
Lovely.
you see,
Good.
there's a lot to talk about,
Yeah.
and maybe that's good, because when you've been doing something the same way for such a long time, at least be open to something else and see how it goes. But I think we're on the right track. You see the issues I need to bring up with a wider audience and get a feel for where the majority wants to go.
And that's fine. To me, it's don't make it an issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay?
this isn't, it's all good material. So,
It certainly is all
Yeah.
good material. So listen, go ahead.
I'm also wondering, you're not listed in the there's on the web, on the internet, there's all the study groups are listed, and I don't see you there.
Where are you looking?
Under Beverly Hutchinson is the one that has done this for years. It's been out there forever.
And I've been participating in renewing it for years. I just renewed mine maybe in the last couple of months.
Oh, so you are
So
there.
I
Okay, I'll
know I
take.
should be there, but if not, I appreciate the feedback. I have to follow up on that.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
see you, but
But I've
okay.
been working with them since, I don't know,
Yeah,
2007 also.
right.
I'll check into it.
Just because you've been looking, for more people to join, so I just was checking. Are you there? And I didn't see it.
Well, I appreciate you telling me. I get so busy, I don't get a chance to check into it anymore. But I will if our
And
group.
maybe I missed it. I'll look again.
Okay, let me know.
Okay.
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 All right. I had a couple of people say they couldn't join us, so you ready to get started?
Yes.
Sure.
We had finished the first introduction, the text introduction, and to my recollection, we did 3 paragraphs in the introduction to the workbook. So I'm figuring we pick up with paragraph 4. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
So I've got me as first reader, and then Kathleen is the second. Oh, I should have had Joan is 3 and Dee is 4. How's that? Even though
Okay.
Dee
And
was the
what
first one
I thought
here.
we're up to paragraph 4. Are we up
That's
That's what
to
he
where
said.
we're starting.
That's where we're
Oh, we
starting on
are.
paragraph 4.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'll start there, paragraph
Okay.
4. The purpose of the workbook is to train your mind in a systematic way to a different perception of everyone and everything in the world. The exercises are planned to help you generalize the lessons so that you will understand that each of them is equally applicable to everyone and everything you see. What say ye, mighty group, about paragraph 4?
It's the no exception rule.
Yeah.
What do you mean, no exception?
We can't make exceptions and leave. Well, that's not really true. My Course in Miracles leader for years allowed us one exception for our lifetime. We couldn't change it. We could pick one person to exclude, but we couldn't change it.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
He was goofing. There's
Oh,
no exceptions.
right, except for me, right?
He told us our group was so special that we could
Yeah,
have one exception.
yeah, I gotcha. Give me another. When we say no exceptions, isn't that what non-dual means?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything is one.
Yep.
there's only one, no exceptions. And so we hear that word non-dual. It simply literally means not two, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it also says the purpose of the workbook is a different perception of mostly everyone.
Everyone. No
Everyone
And
and
exception.
everything.
mostly everything in
No
the
exceptions.
freaking world. So, do you see how this concept of reality being 180 degrees from what we think it is, he's apparently not kidding. it says to a different perception of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any exceptions to that statement?
No,
No.
So we're in the realm of non-duality, aren't we? And
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
for some poor students, to hear that word, it's kind of fuzzy, don't quite, I kind of get it, but we get it very specifically. There aren't going here. And then we go to the next sentence. The exercises are planned to help you generalize the lessons. What is Jesus saying here? What does that mean, generalize?
it applies to everything across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not just to this lesson, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of my favorite analogies, the parable or whatever from the Bible about the man that built his house on sand and another one built his house on rock. And when the winds came, the one who built his house on sand, the house toppled. If we generalize that axiom, that truth, give me, if you generalized it, where else would that idea apply? The story's about rock versus sand, but the meaning has to do with more than building houses, doesn't it?
Mhm.
What's he really saying there?
Well, what he's really saying is it's unchangeable. Rock is solid and it's not going to change. Where sand when the wind comes, the sand can blow in 50 million directions, but the rock is not going to build. The foundation goes to what is true, and truth will not. It's the truth. It's the truth with a capital T that's unchangeable.
And you might say, if you're going to build on something strong that
Mm-hmm.
has a strong foundation, not a weak one. And do you see that so much broader than the specific example of it?
Yeah, it's the foundation of our life, of our consciousness.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you an example, but don't just take the story I'm giving you, the example, the analogy. Look at the bedrock teaching. It means build on something strong, not on something weak. How am I doing?
Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when Jesus introduces the workbook, he says, now I'm going to give you some examples that will help, but remember, what I'm telling you doesn't just apply in the milieu, in the connotation of the story. I'm going to need you to generalize all of these lessons and use them everywhere, all the time. Is that a good summary of what?
Yeah, you use them in our daily life.
Is that an example of non-duality?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
do the same thing all the time in every situation without exception. One that's really hidden me a lot lately is attack in any form is never justified.
Mm-hmm.
I practice that at Walmart today. I practice it in the grocery store. Situations that would otherwise have been frustrating, I can't attack because attack in any form is never justified, is planted in my head. And it's changed my whole way of dealing with bank lines and crowded freeways and lines in the store. I can do a lot of things, but I can't attack.
That would include in politics too.
Yeah. And so it doesn't mean don't engage in politics, but the way you engage is from a different perspective. Again, no exceptions, attack in any form. So I can't get angry anymore, right?
Play nice.
Yeah.
All the time. That's the non-dual part. Doesn't mean just play nice at this party or when you go to the movies. It means non-dual. Play nice. Comment? Then we're up to my friend Kathleen.
Sure. Transfer of training in true perception does not proceed as does transfer of the training of the world. If true perception has been achieved in connection with any person, situation, or event, total transfer to everyone and everything is certain. On the other hand, one exception held apart from true perception makes its accomplishment anywhere impossible.
Is he talking about non-duality?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
Did you already know this when you guys first started reading? Because most people don't spend much time with the introductions. They're anxious to get, okay, what's this about? But now that you've been through the content, do you see how true he was with the summary that maybe I kind of skipped over, didn't pay as much attention to in years gone by, but ring like a bell right now.
Mm-hmm.
Masterful writer, right? I think. All right. Let's see, any comments there? Then we're up to Joni on paragraph 6, right?
Okay. The only general rules to be observed throughout them are first, that the exercises be practiced with great specificity, as will be indicated. This will help you to generalize the ideas involved to every situation in which you find yourself and to everyone and everything in it. Second, be sure that you do not decide for yourself that there are some people, situations, or things to which the ideas are inapplicable. This will interfere with transfer of training. The very nature of true perception is that it has no limits. It is the opposite of the way you see now.
Any comments here?
It's just so it's so amazing when that actually occurs. You know, in your brain goes, oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be doing this. This is not right. Yeah, it just amazes me when it works, or when I allow it to work and I let go, and I practice all the stuff that I'm reading and learning about,
Mhm.
or remembering,
Other comments?
Well, we are going to mess up all the time, but it's like we catch ourselves now.
Yeah, yeah,
And isn't that amazing progress?
yeah,
At least I may react compulsively
yeah.
from my old training,
Mm-hmm.
but I recognize it when I do,
Yeah, yeah,
even if I didn't recognize it in real time yet. In other words, recognizing it fast enough to stop the old
stop it.
behavior in its tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But with practice, you get better at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
For
you
me,
get, yeah,
For me, the big tail sign is if I'm driving and a driver drives by or does something and I go into my little tyrant, that's when that's when I say to myself, "Oh, Kathleen, you are really out of whack today." And that just shows you, because you're not thinking about being out of whack, and all of a sudden the driver in front of you does something stupid, and then this tyrant comes out of your mouth and you go, whoa, where did that come from? It's
and
like,
yet you're not as out of whack as you used to be.
right,
I mean, I've done stuff and I said, I shouldn't have handled it that way. And, it's a day later or something after I've calmed down. If I had it to do over again, I'd do better. But to me, it gets to the point where you can do better right there in
right,
real time.
right.
So there isn't even a gap. That's
Yeah,
what my
yeah.
practice seems to have to
Mm-hmm.
be leading toward.
Mm-hmm.
Joan, D, anything else on that paragraph?
No,
Oh,
I
I
think
think,
you
oh,
covered
okay,
it.
Joan.
Go ahead, Joan, and then I'll go to D.
No, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Miss Newman, you were saying
I
something?
think it's great for me to even be at the point of realizing after the fact that I was out of whack, because in the past, I wouldn't think so. I would keep justifying that they
Yeah,
deserved the way I reacted.
Correct.
yeah,
And we need to think of that with some of the newer students because they'll start beating themselves up because they made a mistake
Mhm.
when they should be congratulating themselves that they recognize that they made a
yeah,
mistake.
yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't used to
Exactly.
be like that, you see?
Exactly.
So,
One thing I do notice is that I don't beat myself up so much.
Great.
nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the ego, and people talk about the ego as though it's like a body or an adversary or a person. The ego is a thought system that is always, you remember the course says the ego's range is from suspiciousness to viciousness. So if it can't find something wrong with a situation, mildly wrong or extremely wrong, what it's trying to do is promote guilt because you did something wrong. Well, was it a little wrong or a big? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if it can't make your friends wrong, your associates wrong, it's okay with making you wrong. So do you see how when I feel guilty for a mistake, it's still from the ego's tricks?
Ah,
So Joan, right, isn't it nice when you can stop feeling guilty or at least reduce it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I begin to have some mercy and compassion for myself when I goof up.
Oh, right. And so mercy and compassion just doesn't apply to other people in your sphere. Don't forget about you. You're in the sonship too. And that's why a lot of times the word giving and receiving are one. You'll hear giving and receiving are one, but you don't want to be a giver. You want to be a sharer. It's okay to keep some for you. You're in the universe of God's kids, right? So I'm just pointing out, at least in my experience, some of the tricks that the ego will play and say, oh man, I messed up. That's terrible. No, I messed up. That's terrible accomplishment because I saw it was an error.
mhm.
Now we're perceiving errors in almost real time, right? Shall we continue?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm thinking, is it back to me?
I think it's my turn.
Oh, okay. We're on 7, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
The overall aim of the exercises is to increase your ability to extend the ideas you will be practicing to include everything. This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer. And like you said, including everything means myself too.
Mhm.
Yes. Other comments. Notice he has included specific elements in the exercise. You remember, I forget the lesson where he wants you to visualize your enemy
Mhm.
and start to meditate until you can see them as friend. Now that's a specific within the lesson, but the type of practice that he introduces in that lesson is a specific practice that can be generalized. Okay. So, according to Jesus here, he put a lot of time into structuring these lessons so that the essential elements of how you do this are included. So, if you want to learn faster, understand that I'm going to give you 365 of these, but we're not going to have to do a million if you would just take these and transfer, take these and generalize. And even these, my friend, as you see, once you go through them over and over, are redundant.
Well, we're forming new habits. We're learning new habits.
And
Mhm.
you see, our teacher is patient and yet instructs us as to what the outcome should be in the introduction itself. Okay, it's not just a willy-nilly introduction, is it? We as
Not at all.
seasoned students and having been through the content can now probably more fully appreciate the overview that was being given. Dee, you ready to?
You're next.
Oh,
I
okay.
just read.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see. I think Jackie's here. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Sorry,
I'm
so
glad
late.
to see you. Are you going non-visual tonight?
Yes, for a few minutes. Yes,
Okay.
if that's
Well, that's
okay.
good. I'm just glad you're here just to get you oriented. We're in the introduction to the workbook for students,
Okay.
and we're on page 2, paragraph 7. So we're,
Okay.
No, we're starting paragraph 8.
oops, I'm sorry, we're starting paragraph 8.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Sure, it's my turn. And why don't I read and then maybe we'll go to you, Jackie. Are you reading? Jackie?
Yeah. I can read in
Okay.
this time.
So I'll read paragraph
Okay.
8 and you can settle in for a minute and then do 9, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure. Paragraph 8. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Comment?
Yeah, so that itself is the opposite of how I'm used to processing. It's saying just use it. You don't need to believe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You don't need to understand it.
Yeah.
Just apply it.
Yeah,
So that,
again,
yeah.
we're in this relationship between theory and application. Theory's good, but application is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
But usually you apply, you do have the theory first before you apply something. And this is saying the heck with the theory. It
Yeah.
just, whether you understand it or not, whether you believe it or not.
Yes. Now,
Just,
I'm going to kind of tell you the theory, but that's not important. This is not going to be about theory. This is about application.
Yeah.
The maximal benefits of meditation is when you can do it with your eyes open. Close-eyed is nice. It certainly helps. It's building you up for the action. But the action, here, have you heard the expression, is it in 12 steps? It says it'll work if you work it.
Yeah. It's part of the 12-step program.
The theory is okay. Thanks for coming out to the meetings and drinking coffee with us and talking to friends there and all of that. But it's when you leave the friggin' meeting, that's where the benefits are.
Well, there comes a time that there comes a time where you have to put what you're learning into action. Because if you don't put it into action, nothing will change. It'll only remain the same.
Faith without works is dead.
Mm-hmm.
You can get brownie points. Oh, you're so faithful. But if you were really faithful, you'd do it. Jesus said, if you would be my disciple, follow me. Oh, Jesus, I love you, and oh, I'd do anything. Then do anything for me.
Yeah.
Do you see the same principles we're talking about here? Here's how words do us a disservice. Words differentiate things. And how many ways are there then of saying the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
People get tripped up, but we get to practice going to the lowest common denominator. Here's an example. Okay, building houses, right? There was a person or a shepherd that had 100 sheep and one was lost. Oh, that okay. And there was great rejoicing when one was found. What is that? What's the lowest common denominator? It's talking about wholeness. But you wouldn't know that. You think it's about shepherds and sheep until you learn that these are just metaphors for something deeper. I think that's all I have to say. The efficacy, the ability to produce a result, a beneficial result, will be found if you use them. And like today, I ran into some customer wait times and stuff like that when I was out on errands and that today. And it kept coming back. Attack, not just attack, but then he says in any form.
Yeah.
And it stopped me in my tracks. But I had a good day because of it. You know, I didn't get mean. I didn't get upset. And here I am now talking to you nice people, and the rest of the day went well too.
Mhm.
But
And I think it's also, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
go ahead, dear.
I
Please.
think it's also saying that by its fruits you shall know it. So we don't have to even necessarily understand it or have the theory under our belt yet. A lot of people start with the workbook.
Yeah.
Just the and so to me it's also saying try it and then see if it's working for you.
Yeah, because it won't work while you're thinking about it.
No, no.
Its benefits manifest when you do it, not
Oh,
when
yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah,
And
because it then,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, it then refreshes in you what you already know, what your your inner higher self voice knows. It knows it. So when you do it, it just goes, oh, that's what that is.
And the thing is, when you see it work with that one example, when you apply it, and remember, he said, I know it worked for this, but
Mm-hmm,
remember, I told you use it all the time.
mm-hmm,
You'd be ecstatic if you used it all the time instead of hesitantly, one baby step at a time. And what is it that keeps us sticking our toe in the water? And it's the first characteristic of a teacher of God, the
Trust.
bedrock
Trust.
trust.
mm-hmm.
So I know you don't trust me today, but if I can start showing you something to your benefit, I think your trust will start to increase. So I know you don't understand it. You may not even like it. Just try it. Isn't that the acid test anyway? All right. Anything else here? Jackie, you able to read, or is this a good time for you?
I can read. You said you were on on the introduction for the manual for teachers?
No.
Oh,
Workbook for students on
on
page
the
2.
mhm. Okay, for the workbook for students on page. So the part 1 of the workbook for students
Yes.
introduction. Okay,
And
I
it's
can read.
paragraph 9.
Okay. Um, sorry.
It's okay. You having trouble?
Okay, gotcha. Remember only this?
There you go.
Okay. I love those I love those 3 words. It's my favorite. Remember only this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. And you need not even welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. But do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required.
I remember the first time I had to look up the word efficacy. I had heard of efficiency, of effectiveness. What is efficacy? It is the ability to produce a desired results. You'll hear that word a lot in the pharmaceutical industry. And the first time I ever saw that word was right here in this introduction. Uh, and the last kind of admonition, he says, but do not allow yourself to make exceptions. What's another word for not making exceptions?
Non-duality.
We do it good, right?
Mhm.
So non-duality is not as mysterious. It just means one, not
Not two.
we okay with this? All right, I'm looking at the clock. I think we have a few more minutes. Shall we delve into introduction, workbook introduction part 2 is on page 398. And I'm going to say that's Kathleen, right?
Yep.
Good deal. Let's do it. And this is after lesson 220.
Yep.
221 starts part 2.
Okay. Everyone all set?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Words will mean little now. We use them as guides on which we do not now depend. For now we seek direct experience of truth alone. The lessons that remain are merely introductions to the times in which we leave the world of pain and go to enter peace. Now we begin to reach the goal of this the course has set and find the end toward which our practicing was always geared.
Thank you. Comment?
I love sentence 3. For now, we seek direct experience of truth alone.
What were we doing before then?
It wasn't our experience. We were practicing it before.
Well, what's the emphasis on in that sentence, Dee? For now we seek direct experience as opposed to what? What were we doing before? Indirect?
Mm-hmm.
That's what hits me. See,
Well, I think now we're experiencing it on a different level as opposed to before. The indirect is trying to create the experience. Now we're experiencing the experience.
yeah, it's like all the other stuff was to get us out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting to what I really want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rest, I was just setting the table.
Yeah.
Notice how it starts. Words will mean little now. But to me, my understanding, it shows what a loving God is in presenting this. Again, he doesn't come in and destroy your stuff. To me, the beauty of A Course in Miracles is that it uses dualism to lead to non-dualism. There's a phrase in the Course, have you heard it? Something like, the Course uses time to teach you that there is no time. That's what time is for, as the Holy Spirit sees it. So, like with your rebellion under the tiny mad idea, you thought you were rebelling, and yet I'll change the purpose of that activity. You made time to limit the eternal, right?
Mhm.
So I'll use what you made for a better purpose. The Course is so beautiful to me in that it uses dualism to lead us into non-dualism. You like words? Okay, I got plenty of them here. Okay, what, a few hundred pages and stuff, right?
Mhm.
But that's not what this is for. But I'm just getting you in the mood by using a communication you're used to get you up to the gate. Now let me tell you what I really want to tell you. Words will mean little in this conversation. And did you see how the words dropped off? Lessons 221 to 365, there was a prayer, a paragraph of prayer, a paragraph of description or narration, and the rest is received silently. But notice he didn't just tell you to start doing this. It's too much for our system. So he lovingly set the table to get to this point. That's my interpretation. What do you all think?
Mhm.
Yeah? All right. Joan, we good?
Yes.
All right. Joan is next reader, right?
Okay, paragraph 2.
Yeah.
Now we attempt to let the exercise be merely a beginning, for we wait in quiet expectation for our God and Father. He has promised he will take the final step himself, and we are sure his promises are kept. We have come far along the road, and now we wait for him. We will continue spending time with him each morning and at night, as long as makes us happy. We will not consider time a matter of duration now. We use as much as we will need for the result that we desire. Nor will we forget our hourly remembrance in between, calling to God when we have need of him, as we are tempted to forget our goal.
Thanks, Joan. Comments, my friends?
I have a terrible time with that hourly remembrance. I can remember morning and evening, but I just forget all about it during the day.
I used to write it down and carry it with me.
There's some nice free apps now on our phone that just chime with the lesson.
How does that sound, Joan? I mean,
Yeah,
something you can put on your phone?
that's an idea.
Yeah. Back in the day, I had to
Thank
write on
you.
3x5 cards. And
Me
it
too.
was so weird because I'd be at work and I go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, I'm standing there at the urinal doing my remembrance on a 3x5 card. Am I telling too much?
No, my cards went with me everywhere also.
Yeah. So maybe just put it in your phone some kind of way. And if that doesn't work for you, come back. We got a million helps on that, okay?
Well, I just thought of something I did a long time ago was I had a rubber band on my wrist and I would watch on the hour, I would snap it, you know.
This is certainly worth a snap. So give it a try. Let us know how these work out for you. And I appreciate you sharing that because that's an issue for most course students. I do my morning meditation and my evening meditation years, but it was always that throughout the day. But the issue is it was throughout the day that I really needed it. So there's an irony there. I hope that helps. I'm gonna close out for tonight.
Okay.
Reverend
I
Jim,
hope
Oh,
can I
before
say
you
something?
close, my apologies. I misspoke. You are in her list in the group
Oh, good,
directory.
good, good. Hey, that's one less thing for me to do. So thank
Right.
you. I
Right.
appreciate that. Jackie, you okay?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing kind of funny when you were talking about the apps, right after you mentioned the apps, like a few seconds later, my app dinged with my lesson for the day.
See, technology, right?
Yeah,
Where do you find the apps?
on the
It's
App
a-
Store. Yeah, do
it's
you
a-
have an iPhone
I don't know
or
if it's
Android?
phone.
Is it an
It's an Android. It's an Android. It's the Android. It's not the iPhone.
Okay, Jackie, tell her she goes to Play Store, right?
Well, I have a iPhone, so I do the App Store. So I'm not sure with the Android. I think it's
But
Google
what
Play. Maybe
but
somebody else knows. Yeah.
what's the software you put search and search for?
I don't know. I don't have an Android phone, so I'm not sure
I have a
what.
Play Store.
Yeah,
Okay.
but even
Yeah.
on the Apple, you go to the Apple store and then what do you put in? What's
The
the
So
app,
the
you can't go to the Apple Store if you have an Android. They do a different store.
I understand that, but
Oh,
But
okay.
what am I
name of
looking
it?
for?
What's the name of the app? Is it A Course in Miracles?
Well, me personally, I have a Course in Miracles app, but there are different ones.
Right.
And the one I have is a paid app. Actually, it's $12, but it's amazing. And I can email that out to you, and you can email it to everybody. but Dee may have another app that she could, but there's a lot, like Dee said, there's a lot of apps. You can just search ACIM and then kind of
Right.
see the free one, just try all of them and see which ones work for you.
No.
But
Okay.
it's a paid one. I do recommend this one as a paid one. I've tried some of the free ones and I do like this one. So that's
So
mine.
you go to Play Store and type in A Course in Miracles or ACIM and
Yeah.
pick one you want. Some are free, some are paid.
The
Yeah.
one that I use is a free one, and can only speak for iPhone also, but I would imagine it's the same app.
Stores go
Right.
have
So it's
Yeah.
spelled all one word, ACIM in capital letters, capital W work, capital B book, ACIM workbook,
Yeah,
all
I
one
just-
word.
Yeah, I haven't, I just went to the app play thing and I went into apps and it's ACM alerts with workbook.
Yeah, and there are gonna be others, but just
Yeah.
try it until you find one that works
From
for
the
you.
Foundation of Inner Peace.
Good deal. I have an Android phone also, not an iPhone. So just go there and search for A Course in Miracles or workbook, whatever. Play around with it. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Do you have a workbook app on your Android?
I don't have any Course in Miracles on my
Okay.
phone anymore. You know, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, I'm on my laptop most of my work, and I use the Foundation for Inner Peace Course in Miracles online is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I don't want to go over here tonight. I appreciate you coming out. I hope we had fun. I'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Okay.
everyone. Thanks.
Okay,
Love
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for all of your help and support, everybody.
Thank
See
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.